So the first question is read the sentences including the right answer. First, the writer and the others did not understand what would happen to the Martian because terror and disaster had blinded their minds. Then, by paying with 1,000,000 lives, humans beings have vowed the right to Earth. And finally, human beings have developed the ability to fight against germs. And the next part is match the sentences A to F with the words 1 to 6. I think they are outside. It's for the Martians. B, it hit the house and buried us under the ruins. 2, the fifth cylinder. And I thought that it might not be long enough to reach me. And 3, the tentacle. D, I thought that if I could attract it quietly, I might be able to kill it and eat it. 5, the dog. And E, he fell forwards and lay flat on the floor. Number 6, the curate. And F, I tried treating him and then I hit him. Number 1, the writer. And now I'm gonna summarize the last chapters. So the narrator and the curate hide in a small house surrounded by black smoke. 2 days later, a spacecraft arrived from Mars and used a steam jet to dispel the black smoke. So the narrator is determined to go with his wife to Leatherhead and believes that all Mars explorers will go in the opposite direction through London. Then he finds that the neighborhood is still standing and the narrator and the curate arrange for food. The narrator crawls through the rubble and discovers that one of Mars' cylinders has crashed into the house. The narrator watches Mars closely and says that no other human being has been able to observe them closely or for such a long time. In fact, Mars had nothing but round heads about 5 feet in diameter. The narrator reveals that Martians don't sleep and having clear sex or clear gender because they reproduce by budding like a tree. He also points out that the world of Mars contains no microorganisms, and the narrator suggests that Mars is telepathic and the noises it makes are not intended for communication. And then the narrator and the curate struggle to see Mars through the hole. The narrator expresses his hatred for the curate who doesn't partake of the meal and cries for long periods. After days of hiding, the narrator sees one of the cars returning and unlanded captives. He didn't see what was happening, but he heard the screams and cries of Mars. The narrator plans to escape, and the narrator tries to argue with the curate, but it becomes increasingly absurd. The narrator eats and drinks for 10 days, but constantly fights with the curate to keep him from eating. The narrator catches up with him and drives him away. The narrator hides and watches the warehouse as they drag the curate body. and he hides in a cold vault in the warehouse. And then the metal tentacles search the pantry and even open the door to the cold cellar, but the narrator goes unties. After the tentacles disappear, the narrator remains hiding in the cold pit for a day, despite hunger or thirst. Then he emerged from the cold pit and discovered that Mars tentacles have eaten the leftover food. Desperately trying to get water, he ends up using the pump handle next to the sink, though he fears Mars will hear him. The narrator investigates the hole. Red Martian plants have grown in the area, but there isn't sign that Mars has been found anywhere. And he has the impression of being on the landscape of another planet, surrounded by earth and red vegetation. And he worries that humans are no longer the dominant spies on Earth and have become dependent on Mars. He wondered if Mars had come to destroy Berlin or Paris, and if he was one of the few remaining. And he spends the night at an inn on Putney Hill. They should only allow the strongest survivors to band together and someday take down Mars. The narrator is afraid of the world that the soldier describes, but agrees to help him dig the tunnel. The next day, the narrator decides he wants his wife back and will leave the dreamer running around with wonderful things to drink and gorge himself up. He travels around London. He later learns that Mara has been killed by a bacteria to which humans have been immune for generations. Then a mafia family, recruits the narrator, who finds him lost and disoriented, and he is told that Mars had destroyed Leatherhead. The narrator decides that he wants to see what happened to his home, and he didn't care about the family's rejection, and the narrator leaves. Passing by his house, the narrator hears a voice, and upon peeking out, finds his wife and cousin, and that's the end.